Laquala bifida. I sent these to Anders Barfod, and he'd never seen the flowers on these before. And they had a name of Priate or Pre-Puck, some vernacular name. And so he named these for me by the flower and the leaf. But this is it. This is,
pretty.
you know, but, you know, these are older than hell. I mean, a gentleman by the name of Michael Ferrero that's from Australia that did a lot of traveling into New Guinea and so on. Got some collectors organized for another Aussie to get some of this stuff in, and it, you know,
Beautiful.
no one knew names at all. This is Cyclosperma brutal malens from Vanuatu, and it's highly endangered, and we've got it flowering and fruiting, and looking forward to seed.
What's that orange? Is that a Versifeltia?
Yeah, they're just, no, that's a
Phoenix.
Oh, Phoenix, okay.
Do you have this? This was given to me as a birthday.
Oh, Dendrocolum longiflora, I
But
believe.
smell it.
Oh yeah, this to me, it reminds me of
I mean,
laundry soap or like. I love that plant. That's the biggest one I've ever seen. We do, yeah, we do have that one.
I
Yeah,
was just thinking that if you had something like that flowering in your,
we do. It
your
actually just bloomed, which is cool because they all kind of. I mean, they're all kind of blooming at the same time of year throughout the world. You know, everybody just, I love that when plants sync up like that.
And when they're, you know, we can all be in different spots.
Yeah.
There's some guy in, you know, I hear, well, Johannes Tasmania Magnifica or seeding, and I go, God, that's funny. Mine are too. But we're in the same.
Yeah.
This is a rare Basilinea that bifurcates and has a beautiful colored
look
crown
at that.
shaft that Mike hand pollinated and got a small rack. We've
Cool.
got males happening here that he needs to collect this, or males going off somewhere that we need to try to get some of this pollen, Mike, unless you think they're going to do it on their own this time because we have so many more flowers. But this thing's about 28 years
Wow.
old. It was in the ground, it was doing terrible, so I dug it out, put it in this pot, and then it just went nuts. But New Caledonia is just a, you know, they used to have 15 genera. It's been shrunk into 10. There's a lot of stuff I don't agree with, but you know, you have to kind of conform.
Yeah, I had this in the talk actually. We got some of these from you, 2 Latipariums that are both doing fantastic. They do really well. They're great on little understory palms. They do well in pretty shady conditions.
A lot of tropical rhododendrons.
Yeah, your varieties are going nuts.
So here's young Sadakentia. And we've got this pink one that's the first time I've seen it.
Probably the biggest ones that I've ever seen. That's not an easy plant to grow.
It isn't.
No, ours is about a foot tall and 3 ugly leaves on it. But every once in a while it puts out a new one, so there's hope. Oh yeah.
So these are Mauritia flexuosa, all over Brazil.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's some left.
Yeah, hopefully.
This is Laquala insignis. This
Yeah.
has a seed like a peach pit. This is also another New Guinea variety that has, it's probably the largest seed Laquala.
I believe we have some little ones of these from you. They're still not too big, but
this is a form of Reinhardtia latisecta.
Oh,
We were trying to put it into its own species, John Dransfield and I, and we were shot down by critical review that, you know, where does this come from and how do we know it's not a hybrid from Floribunda? Well, there's nothing to hybridize with, and it came to me as a hydrostele, and I noticed and started to do this flowering, and this is distinctive Reinhardtia flower, and we call it the red, white, and blue palm because it comes out with a white flower, then the flower turns red, and the seed is blue ripe.
Nice.
And you can see there's tiny little window panes.
Oh, yeah.
Reinhardti
Yeah,
is famous for its
yeah.
window panes.
Yeah.
And so it seems
like
to
it.
be more of a compact form of Reinhardti elaticecta. We, you know, a lot of people plant gardens of, they have Madagascar stuff all together. This garden has no rhyme or reason. We have large Chamberonia, hooker eyes as canopy. This is a dipsis that we're vacillating on what name it is. This is Calyptocalyx caudiculatus, that you would think the seed would be ripe red, but it's ripe dark purple. So we've harvested them red, and then they didn't work, and then we learned our lesson that we just be patient, they'll ripen. It's been revised, and this is the Marquesan form. I got real lucky. I had a lady friend of mine take a freighter from Tahiti to the Marquesas. On her last day, she talked to the lady that would cleaned her hotel room about this palm that grew, and her husband went up in the mountains and collected her some seed, and she shared a couple. But these things start like this, and I could have sworn to God, like 4 months ago or 3 months ago, these things have turned into this. Now, they sit on the tree for 2 years.
Wow.
You cannot harvest Pelagodoxa. So this is called Pelagodoxa henriana. The Fijian one is a much smaller seed that we have in another part of the property seeding, and they're a 2-year project. And you know, you can shake them, and if they fall, but you can't go, oh, this looks ripe, because if you actually cut down through this, it'll be white and it won't propagate for you. These are Bactris militaris.
Yeah, those are.
These are a little bit gnarly, but there's a granite form and a Pacific form.
Those are cool.
And in Costa Rica. These are neat. These are hydrosteel solibacum. They start going plumose. They're real slow to grow, real difficult. But I'm very fortunate to be connected to this Indonesian man that collected a lot of the stuff from Indonesia, the Indonesian part of New Guinea, and got lucky.
Wow, what is this guy with the massive seed in the tiniest little palm?
Yeah, this is in one of my pet peeves. This is what we call Areca lataloba, but it's been merged into Montana. Makes no sense. This is stuff that botanists are doing that have never grown palms. And these are hybrids, Justin. These, I'm not a big hybrid fan, but this is hybrid dipsis of Dipsis rosea, which is over here. We have these bow tie type leaflets crossed with Dipsis paludosa. And a friend of mine had them right next to him in his yard, and he gave me seed. And then out of 100 plants in 4-inch pots, we saw these ones with these big entire leaf that looked nothing like. So I gave him a couple, and I kept a couple, and I said, my worker asked me, what are you going to do with these things? I said, well, I guess we'll plant them. And then because Californians are into hybrids because they have so much vigor.
Yeah.
But so now you see they're acting fairly. Now that has a seed on it. I said, you know, these every flower is all aborted. So, but that still is weird because I think these will all be abortive, and that feels like it has a seed in it. So those might be interesting to try to grow and see what we can get to come. This is Dipsis utilis. I saw these in Madagascar in the original plant that Halmore described. They were in the center of a roundabout, and we were in this big Mercedes bus, and Dransfield kept going, there's Dipsis utilis. This was the one that Harold Moore described, and I'm looking, I'm going, this thing So they start with one trunk, they bifurcate into two,
Okay.
and there's 5 heads
Well-
on this one and that one. If you actually try to figure this out, and if you could get up in there with a ladder, you would see growing points. So these things, this monster that it looked like a hyphany or something. The thing was all branching and going crazy in Madagascar, and I wasn't looking at. I mean, I was looking at it, and I just didn't. The palm didn't come to my head.
Yeah.
And finally, I said, "Jeff, it's right in front of you, for Christ's sakes." And
That's
so
interesting that it does that.
this is what they're doing, and they flower off the hairy part. They'll lose their hair later. My wife braided one of them for the hell of it over here. So we're growing Ravenea xerophylla.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to grow here.
How we doing?
Yeah, we're doing it. We've got sclerosperma.
Oh.
These were manii. These are like the marrogaceas of Western Africa. And I had to trade like so much for this guy that had these things. And he sent me 3 forms that I think all turned into one. But this second one, Bill Baker saw this and he goes, "You sure that's manii? Because it's staying much more fused. There's one called Provisianum that stays entire." And I
Yeah.
might have gotten lucky. I don't know. But it's very interesting, Justin, how they flower kind of like a cycad. They put off
Oh,
this
wow.
little cone that comes
Look at
out.
that.
You can see this, and the males are at the top and the females are down at the bottom. And we actually got some seed. They haven't germinated yet, but we're trying.
These are nice.
But it's, I mean, it's hard to get. I've had a Aussie went there, and I mean, I've read articles about them and stuff. It's just not the safest spot for
Yeah.
a blonde, blue-eyed guy to be walking around, I think. And I mean, no disrespect to Western Africa.
Yeah.
These are Phoenix alfredi that we've got all over here. This thing's taken off. Florida has this lethal bronzing that's affecting all their Phoenix sylvestris. All their field plantings have all died. They've had the
Yeah.
bulldozing. They're trying to replace with this, and I'm kind of on the ground floor, so we're doing well with those. And I think this thing could be I think in California you could grow this from San Diego to San Francisco.
Yeah.
I mean, they took 24 degrees in,
Wow.
above Orlando. So this is what we call a kipuka. And when I had this property ripped, he just passed around this because it would have taken. I've
Yeah.
had ram hose up here. I mean, big tract excavator ram hose. We've rammed holes. I tease people from California, and because they're looking at it from a distance. These are Dipsis Carl Smithy, small ones, but you can see they're flowering.
Yeah, yeah.
We get these things to flower. The flowers will go down to
All the
almost
way
the
to
ground.
Yeah.
These are yellow sealing wax.
Oh, neat.
They have some. We've heard they were spread by offshoots in Thailand and so on. Now we've gotten them to seed, and we've sown the seed, and they're growing, but it's going to take a while because this is slow for us. We're trying to see if this might be a hybrid or a cultivar.
Yeah.
There's an orange form. This is not the orange form, although it looks a little orangish inside. There's Certostachys renda and Certostachys lacca, at least in the old days, which was the orange one that wasn't as popular. This thing is just brilliant yellow when it's young. I mean, that's a regular Certostachys renda.
Yeah.
And these are Dipsis oreopedionis. We're praying it's what they came in as. I mean, I've had a lot of people agree with me. They haven't flowered. They've been in the ground and in pots for years. They're from the high plateau. These are Pholidocarpus, Macrocarpus. These are kind of the Livistonas Asia, although there is some Livistonas in Asia, but they, you know, have the very barbed,
Yeah.
but they have the beautiful yellow striped petioles.
Yeah, those are nice.
Trying to grow a ficus
Damaropsis?
damarops. This
Those are
one
kind
might
of
be a
fun.
little wet. It's handling. That's Dipsis St. Lucie. These things from being fed,
Yeah.
their flowers are so the petiole of the or the peduncle
Yeah,
of the flower, we lose half of them because they're just so we have to go up and tie these things because
They
we
fall break
sell a
and
lot of
then-
this. The leaf sheath just fell off this. These have a snow white, waxy
Mhm.
crown shaft, and we saw them growing in Madagascar in the white sand forest. Unfortunately, there wasn't very many because the Malagasys are harvesting these things to make lobster traps.
Ah.
And they've got bamboo and shit growing all over the place. And why they would pick this palm, and just there's no rhyme or reason. And we call this Dipsis heteromorpha, although John Dransfield disagrees, and he thinks this is a different species. He's got a name that Rue something that
I like it.
describes this reddish.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
looks like a hybrid. It looks like half of a triangle, like this could be a triangle palm on
Yeah,
the top
yeah.
and clustering, but he thinks this can't be heterophylla because they would have to walk 2 days to get in there. So that's Mashwal Madagascariensis. That's Lemuro Phoenix halluari.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably the largest one in cultivation now that cyclones knocked over the ones in Australia,
Yeah.
blew them over and killed them. Or something fell on them. They're no longer there, which is sad. This is flowered big time. We haven't had a flower out in a couple of years, or a year and a half, which is bothering me. We just described a new Lemuro Phoenix from the garden, and on the other side, this was described from this garden. This is Dipsis leucomala. It's very interesting. It's like snow white. It has, I call it the
Oh,
half,
yeah.
half animal, half plant. The flower is like the periarii, but
Yeah.
they're white, the flower sheath. So it's snow white and it's all fuzzy. And you feel even this. Feel the, it's
yeah.
just got some texture to it.
Sure does.
And then you see the leaf, there's like a white margin on the
Yeah.
edges of the leaves, and then this starts to turn red as it gets older. It gets a red fuzz.
That's nice. Beautiful.
Yeah, we planted some. These are Benticchia condipana. These have red seeds like cranberries. You can see they're
Oh, yeah.
seeding over there. I tried for 25 years to get this palm, and I got stuff that were royal palms, and you know, it was just difficult. And finally I got the right guy, and we have Willisiodonta raja ampa. That's a new genus. A friend of mine went in and found these things. He sent me a picture of this thing loaded with seeds. It was growing off a bank like this. And he says, "How do you think I'm going to get the seed, Jeff? Do you have any suggestions?" I said, "Did you bring a shotgun or a slingshot?"